What's up, everybody, and thanks for tuning into this episode of Undercover Vikings. Let's talk about last night's episode. Oh my gosh, guys, last night I was just like glued to the TV screen, basically yelling at the TV screen because so much crazy stuff was going on, and thankfully I was watching it by myself, so I wasn't annoying anybody by yelling at the screen. But the whole time I'm there like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, like it was crazy. There was so much taking place, I could not even fathom what the hell is going on right now. I'm guessing that because of last week's episode, where it really was just like a filler episode, you heard a lot of talking and all that stuff, Michael had no other choice but to just take us into Kattegat and get this thing going. So we've been looking forward to the Civil War like all season long, and it finally came. And the crazy part about it was every single main character in this entire freaking series was there on the battlefield, except for Alfred, which with his crew was over in England. And basically what it looks like is Alfred is not so keen on calling somebody daddy who's not his daddy, and he's making it clear. There's obviously some kind of rift now. He was always treating the king like a dad, but now he's like, nah, you're not my dad. Athelstan's my dad, and that's the way I want to look at it. So anyway, let's go back to Kattegat, and let's start from almost the very beginning. When Torvi was handing off her children to Margaret, I was like, oh my gosh, you're like feeding your babies to the snake right now. I mean, I was like, if this girl does anything to these kids, she is a dead woman walking. I think that's the only thing that protects them, is because she doesn't know what Ube is going to do when he gets on that battlefield. She doesn't know how things are going to turn out. So she really can't do anything to the kids, because Bjorn could come back, Torvi would come back, Lagertha could come back from war, and if she does anything to these kids, she's going to be a dead woman walking. But that might not hesitate to have her treat the kids badly, which I doubt she will do, because that little boy's old enough to say something, okay? The only thing that I'm having an issue with is this baby. This baby needs to grow up, okay? From the time that the baby's been the same age from the time that Bjorn left to go avenge, his father. So it's been years now. That baby should have been a lot older than what it is now, okay? Like, seriously, I'm not even kidding. She wasn't pregnant when Bjorn left, so that had to be the same baby that she had in the previous season. So the baby should at least be like 2 or 3 years old now, or at least 4 years old, because Lagertha hasn't seen Bjorn for like the longest. They haven't seen him, so it's crazy, because he spent a while in England, and then he went over and into Sicily and all that stuff. So come on, grow up, baby. But anyway, let's get back to this war. So now they get to the war, they get to the battlefield, and they are basically negotiating, and it really looked as if no one was negotiating except for Lagertha and company. So Lagertha, Bjorn, Ube, they're all like trying to, convince the other side not to fight. Now, King Harold has no reason not to fight. He just could care less. He's not part of their family or anything. And it was quite ironic when he was talking to his brother, and he was saying, I think, like, come on, I'm your brother. You should be fighting for me and not for a friend just because he saved your life. Which is really ironic, because even Ivar was saying, like, oh, you have to choose between a friend and a brother. I figured you'd know that the better choice is your brother. And it's crazy because he's fighting his own brothers, telling someone not to fight his brother. So he's telling Halfdan, don't fight your brother, while he in turn is willing to fight his brothers. Now, when they were in the negotiations, I'm going to tell you, I was yelling at the screen, and Ivar was like, oh, I don't want to fight anymore. I think I'm just going to let everything go, and we can all be family. Oh my gosh, I was just yelling at the screen like, no, he's lying. He's definitely lying. Anybody who watched that, and thought that he was telling the truth, you do not know Ivar for who he is. Of course he's lying. And then it didn't take him long to actually prove that he was lying. I mean, the whole thing with the drinks and stuff, it was ridiculous. And then when they finally decided to go head to head and start this war and start this fight, we had Ivar, who, I mean, some can look at what he did and say he ran away like a wimp, but he, you know, he was really trying to see what was Bjorn doing. Is Bjorn, you know, going to like split his forces or what? So he decides to split his forces, which turns out bad for them in the long run. But I do feel like that actually saved his butt. And here you have like Astrid, like, come on, we gotta go fight. They need us, they need us, they need us. And Ivar's like, no. I think he just wants them to kill each other on the battlefield, and then hopefully they all kill each other and he ends up being the last one standing, and he'll have Astrid on his side, so like, what does he care? But it didn't turn out that way. They did lose. I was just like screaming on my seat, like each person that was on the battlefield, I was like, oh my gosh, not Fitzer, like don't shoot Fitzer, please don't shoot Fitzer. And then I'm looking over and I'm like, oh my gosh, don't kill Halfdan. Is Harold and Halfdan gonna fight each other right now on this battlefield? Please don't let them die. I mean, Bjorn was the last to come in. Lagertha came in from behind, but I wasn't really scared for their lives. I was more so scared for Halfdan's life, Fitzer's life, Ubez's life, because they were like first head on in, like right in there. Of course the bishop got hurt, but you know he wasn't gonna die. I knew he wasn't gonna die, and of course he didn't die, so that just worked out for his benefit and for Lagertha, because now, I mean, when Lagertha was like, no, we're gonna save this one, it was kind of like just thinking about Athelstan. You know, she has a soft spot for the Christian soldiers when she had to deal with Athelstan half her life. So she kind of like remembers, like, I think in that moment when she was like, no, save him, she was thinking about Ragnar. Like, Ragnar probably wouldn't kill this guy right now. Ragnar would probably save him. So, I mean, you never know. But, like, I was just happy that in the end, none of them did die. I don't think Ivar was too happy to see Harold come back. It was really hard to see, like, Astrid and Lagertha together, because you could tell, like, even though Astrid wanted to go into war, she would have to fight for her husband. But in the end of the day, I don't think she would fight Lagertha. Like, it's hard for her. It hurts her because she does love Lagertha. She wants to be by Lagertha's side and stuff like that, but she really can't do much in the position that she's in right now. You know, and I'm still, you know, I still want Harold to have a happily ever after, at least with a wife, not like taking over Kattegat, but I want him to be able to, you know, have a wife that loves him and will stick by his side. That's all he really freaking wanted in the first place. The only reason why he was pursuing to be the king of all Norway was because of a girl. So just give him that and maybe he would be happy. But now he kind of has to fulfill what he has to do. Anyway, last night's episode was crazy. You guys have to let me know what you think. I don't know what next week is going to really be about, because like, they've lost so many of their soldiers. They took all their soldiers over to Kattegat. So because they lost so many of them, I don't understand how they're going to continue to pursue this. Is this the end of the war part and now we have something else coming forth? Because Lagertha still has to die, and maybe that's going to be left in the hands of Uther. Who knows? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll see you guys on Facebook. Bye!